You're watching Bridge to Faith. And I'm your host, Yusuf Estes. Today, we're here in the jungles, the jungles of India. We're not too far from a place called Kerala, where we had the opportunity to sample some tea and see the tea gardens. And now we're here with the elephants and monkeys here in the jungle. And in the background, as always, on Bridge to Faith, we've found another bridge. When we talk about Bridge to Faith, we're talking about the opportunity for us to talk, share, and explain, discuss, give everybody opportunity to talk about what their faith is, why they have it, and what it means to them. In today's program, we're going to take a break in the middle of it and give you a chance to learn something about the Arabic language using the English language to give you some insight to what we might know about Arabic. And then we'll be back with a particular story of someone telling us about their bridge to faith. All that's coming up right here on Bridge to Faith. With me is my friend Matthew Baaqi, and I'm going to ask him directly to the point. Now you've been talking to us about the subject of being a philosopher, an atheist,
Sure.
coming from a background where scientifically there's no God. Now all of a sudden, after the death of your father, you're really experiencing something here. You're wanting to find out there, what is the ultimate real truth of good and bad? And is there really a God? And listen to the Christian and their message.
Mm-hmm.
You've met somebody named Khalid. He's telling you his message seems pretty direct, feeds the brain, feeds the heart at the same time. Am I up to speed?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, and then what happened?
Well, basically the things that finally convinced me that Islam was the one true way to serve God and God's chosen religion for all of us was that I came to find that there was no separation in terms of secular and religious life. That it wasn't a thing where I'd go worship and then after I leave the mosque, I do whatever I want. But rather, Islam was a way of life that covered every aspect of life. It was a complete way of serving God from the morning to the night and everything in between. And another thing that really convinced me was the fact that the Quran, I could learn to read the Quran in the original language. So I didn't have 4 or 5 different translations. I could read the original Quran. It was unchanged to the letter.
So you started to learn Arabic?
So I started to learn to read Arabic. So I could read the final revelation in its original form.
Now, have you learned Arabic enough to read the Quran?
Yes, as a matter of fact.
Well, we have a program on here that's called Learn Arabic in English, so that's great. Yeah, I'd like to encourage people to do that. Is it hard to learn Arabic?
It's not hard. It's not hard.
Well, let me ask you this question while we're on the subject of Arabic. Have you read the Quran in Arabic just like they used to read?
I think so, yes. Yeah.
You said think. Why?
Well, I have. I mean, to the best that I can approximate my teachers.
But I mean, there's no doubt that you're reading today what they read then.
Oh, I thought you meant like the style of voice. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Quran, as I came to find out, the Quran in letter and, in fact, in mode of recitation is preserved. The way it's read is preserved all the way back to the time of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his companions. So and that was another thing that really clicked with me. Is I saw with modern day religions, they were always changing their laws. If social norms said that something was acceptable nowadays, say for example homosexuality, then they would change their laws to say, okay, well we can have homosexual priests or homosexual whatever. Not picking on that particular issue, I'm just saying as an example. Whereas what I found out about Islam is that the laws were preserved and that there were people following the religion the same way the earliest generations of Muslims were following it 1400 plus years ago. That to me was very convincing, because if they were God's laws, then they shouldn't be changeable by man.
Okay, so now what happened? What was the actual turning point?
Basically, I was getting more and more information, and I was still praying and praying, and then at some point I felt like, there was nothing left to hold me back from being a Muslim.
And then?
And then I said, I'm ready to be Muslim.
To who?
To my friend Khalid.
To Khalid?
To Khalid, yep.
And then what did you do?
So he told me he gathered me in front of a small community of Muslims, and he told me to repeat after him and to say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah.
Allahu Akbar.
Right, which means I bear witness that none has the right to be worshipped except God alone. And I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. And on saying that, I became a Muslim.
That's it. You're right.
That's it.
That's what it takes to enter into Islam.
Yep.
We have so many questions we want to ask you. And I know our viewers are out there thinking, yeah, but wait a minute. Or hold on a second. So what I'd like to do, if you agree to this, viewers, let us know what you think. Send us some emails about it. Maybe we'll have another program with Matthew. We can go more in depth and talk about some of the details, what it was before, how he came into Islam, and now what he's living here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm sure that, would you like to do that?
Sounds good to me.
It sounds good to me too. So watch for that episode also coming up, I think, on Bridge to Faith. And it's been great to be with all of you today, and I would like to close with this. If you're really talking about faith and you're not really sure about the faith you're in or don't have a faith, just pray to God above and ask Him to guide you. If there is a God, who else could guide you better? You don't have to move your lips. You don't have to go anywhere or do anything. You're already where you need to be. Just say, God, guide me. If you're sincere, I think you're going to be guided. And may He guide you to the truth and keep you steadfast always. Till next time. For Bridge to Faith, this is Yusuf Estes reminding you to visit our website, Bridge to Faith, and you'll have some more stuff about us there and others and their Bridge to Faith. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Peace.
There's some more that goes along with the letter Ya in Arabic. Watch this. I'm going to erase that and show you what happens when the letter Ya wants to go to work and have some fun. We're going to start it again with the letter Ba, Boo, or B, or Ba. Well, we found out if we did the circle like this and brought a tail down that it was a wow, and it said Boo. But what would happen if instead we had a Ya and it came down like that? Well, that's when we'd have a kesra, and it would be a B, pronounced B, B-E, B. What would happen if we put this Ba and then put an Aleph? You remember the Aleph has that one little leaf all by itself up there? Just kidding. But look, that becomes Ba, Ba, because the Aleph gives an A sound to the letter before it. And now we learned what happens when this doesn't make a sound, but he adds sound to the one before it. Remember, I told you that when Hamza was working with this guy, he can be an A or an I, or he can have a fatha and be A, or he can be an E, or he can be a U. There are many things that this Aleph can do, but one of the things he does is add value to the letter before. So if I want to say Ba real long, I can make this Ba like this, an Aleph, and another Aleph, and say Ba, Ba. I guess you could keep making Alephs like that and say Ba. But this gives you an idea that the Aleph can add value or length of time to the pronunciation of the letter before it. Now I want to share with you something else. Remember now, the Ya can connect to anybody to his left. So he doesn't have that same thing that Wow does. That's why you don't notice him. You see him turn into a stem like this. He blends right into the family and moves right on down the line with everybody else. So you don't notice him in here like that because he's part of the whole thing. Like in this word, bait. And by the way it works is every other letter gets a sound. Not always, but in this case, this one gets Ba. This gets a sukoon. What's a sukoon? Sukoon means don't pronounce it, but give it some value anyway. This is bait. Bait, house. Bait, house. Now, so that you'll understand, what's happened here is the Ya added something back to the Ba. So the Aleph can add something. The Ya can add something, and the wow can add something. This is ba, this is be, and this is boo. Ba, be, boo. And all we did was put another little wow up there, and we called it dumma. This is the kesra because of the ya here. Whenever you have the ya, it's the e sound. Like in English, when you have a y, a lot of times it equals e. I'll show you. The letter B in English, then the letter Y, and you pronounce it how? By. By. And the same thing that you would do if you went like this in Arabic. By. Ba, ya. By. Make sense? I hope so. Now, we'll take a break, give you time to work on that, and we'll be back.
What is this? I see. Why, it's an elephant. We're at the elephant compound here in the jungle in India. And this is an Indian elephant. The Indian elephants have smaller ears than the African elephants. This one has big white tusks. See them? The trunk or nose of the elephant is prehensile, and that means that he can pick up things with it. Watch him pick up things with his nose. And he can put them in his mouth. He has many big teeth inside of his mouth. And they're good for crunching up things like logs, too. See him eating the stick? And he's not just picking his teeth with that either. Hear the crunch? Yeah, this is miswak for the elephant. His tooth stick. It's good to always brush your teeth every day and clean them with a stick, isn't it? The sun is setting, and these guys right here are waiting to eat their supper. They're hungry. Very hungry. An elephant is very powerful, but often they're gentle. And even though they have such a big size, you would be surprised at the gentleness that they have for each other and for their children. They say that an elephant has a very good memory. They say elephants never forget. So it's good for you to remember, always be good to elephants, because you never know. They may remember something you did bad, and then they could take their revenge. The reason they shift their weight back and forth is because they're so heavy. And by shifting their weight from the right to the left and back to front, it helps offset their weight. This big guy here can eat a whole bale of hay at one time. As a matter of fact, elephants can eat so much that it would take wheelbarrows of apples and buckets of bananas and a pickup load of peanuts just to take care of them for one day. It might be nice to have a pet elephant. He could sleep in the bed next to you.
They get hungry. I've seen all those hungry elephants.
Somebody said that you can tell if there is
an elephant in the bed with you because you can smell the peanuts on his breath. Now, ordinarily, you wouldn't think that an animal would go in for piercing, but it appears here that this elephant has a pierced ear. Now, maybe she likes to wear earrings. It looks like she's yawning. Is she yawning, or is she hungry? That's a good question, isn't it? I think they're going to start eating. And speaking of food, I want to be sure we don't pig out. And speaking of pigs, we got a bunch of them out here. These are actually a form of a wild pig. And they can be pretty tough. He put the food right into his mouth. Pretty chewy, huh? Look, watch him now, watch. Putting the food right inside the mouth. Chew it up. Crunchy. Like bubble gum. Watch him. There he goes. Put it in there. Notice he doesn't take any fingers with it. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Chew it up. If he chews it enough, make it nice and smooth, and he can make it into bubble gum. Elephants, bubble gum. Yeah, look at that. Pretty chewy. That's a peacock with his feathers stretched all the way out. This is the back of the peacock. You see the front of it, and they shake their feathers. And this is to attract the females because he is a boy. And he's calling the girls to check out his pretty feathers. Can you see the feathers? And now the elephants are going to go back to their place and stay the night. And these are called people, and they like to watch the elephants and the peacocks and all the pigs. They even like to watch each other. That's what people like to do. They like to watch. They even pay money to watch. Some people even like to watch with their camera, like us right now. Now watch the man go up to his elephant and put some food in its mouth, and then he's telling it it's time to go, time to get back, time to go. And he'll take her back to her place to stay the night. The pigs have been patiently waiting to get some of this food for them. So far, nobody seems to care about these guys. Not even the elephant. Well, here we are out here in the real jungles, the jungles of India. Take them back out into the jungle. See you tomorrow. Now this deer didn't eat anything, but he's still stuffed anyway. As are all of the animals in this room. There's a big one, and that's no bull. I wonder if he's a regular member of the Elks Club. I don't know if you can make it out very good. I think that's the head of a tiger up there. Well, look at those teeth. And look at the horns on this guy. Got lots of them, and they're long. I don't know if a leopard can change his spots, but this one can't change much of anything anymore. Even this guy's kind of still about the whole thing. I wonder if this is Smokey the bear's relative. He does look like he's been through a fire or something, doesn't he? Well, that's a Himalayan bear from India. And there's the moon just now rising. Rising over the jungle here in India.
It moves faster than what you call it, the sun. So remember when you first saw it, it was down in that branch, and now it's already above it?
Well, that's it for this episode of Bridge to Faith. And until next time, we ask the Almighty to increase all of us in our faith and bring us together for the best in this life and the next. Till next time, peace. Assalamu alaikum.